Hi there and welcome to Hyundai Power Products. My name is Adrian and today we're going to look at this HY215DKH space heater. So I can open the box, lay the contents out on the table and you can see exactly what you get. So I've laid everything out on the table. First of all we have the heater unit itself here. Now there is going to be some assembly to do and we shall show you that moving forward. So again we have the user manual. Now I do recommend that you read the user manual thoroughly before use. Okay, so moving on, we have these two steel bars here which form the framework and handle. We have the two wheels, two cable tidy brackets, two wheel trims, an axle here, and finally we have this bag of screws, washers and clips which we're going to use during the assembly. So I've done this many times and I'm going to show you the easiest way to assemble the wheel and axle and the lower frame. Okay, so we're going to need the two wheels, two large washers, two little R clips, two wheel trims, this frame, now you can identify it because it has very flat pieces on the end of the bar with a hole, and finally an axle. So you'll see a hole in the end of the axle. I'm going to put an R clip in one end, then I'm going to take a washer and feed it all the way on next to that R clip. Then I'm going to take one of the wheels and this high point is going to be facing inwards. So as you can see the high point there on the wheel, that's the assembly for one end. So I can simply feed the whole lot now through the frame, bit of a squeak, out the other end, and then again, let me just come around there, on with the wheel. High side in, you can see it's flat this side, shaped on this side, wheel in, then a washer, and then the final R clip. There we are, and that's the sub-assembly of the lower frame, axle and wheels done. So to fit the wheel trim, I'll just offer it up. It's got some little barbs in here. Now it will take a little bit of a push, so I'm just going to hold the wheel, hold it in place and just give it a little bang with the palm of my hand. You should really use a block of wood, soft hammer, something like that, but quick slap and there it is in position. So I've placed the base frame now the right way up. Okay, so we've got a bar down on the deck, the two wheels. So the wheels go on the hot or output end of the machine. That'll become apparent when I just pick it up off the floor now and I'm going to pop it on there. So bending my knees, lift the machine up and place it loosely in position. So in the bag of fasteners you'll see that we've got long screws and short screws. There are two long screws. We'll come to those long ones a little later. I'm going to take the short screws. There's a hole here on the very end of the tank which we're not using. The next hole back has to line up with this hole in the frame here. So I can just about see it. And I'll just place a bolt in that hole. And very loosely put a nut on the underside. So I'm just going to go to the other side now and do exactly the same. The second hole back, put the bolt in the frame. So I've got the handlebars here. It's going to go on this way round. And there are two holes in the tank here. The forward hole, I can place a bolt, long bolt, down through. And you can see the use of the long bolt. It goes through two frames. So a long one there. Let's just get another short bolt and a short bolt through there. Let's just hold that in position. And again, I'll put a nut on loosely there. Short bolt in this hole, nut on loosely there. And I'm going to replicate that on the other side. So with all 6 bolts in position, I'm just going to hold the nut on the underside. It will grip once you start to tighten. And tighten up all 6 screws. Now I've got a crosshead screwdriver here. So that's those two, nice and tight. Okay, and again I'll do exactly the same on the other side. So at this stage we should have 4 screws and 4 nuts left. I'm going to put the cable tidies on. So you'll see this shape, half round shape in the cable tidy. It's going to go on the bars here. So if I just place one screw through the hole there, and a nut on the inside, exactly the same procedure as we've done everywhere else. Put the bolt through the hole, just get that nut started. I can take my screwdriver, you can see there's a hole right down through here, so we can get at the bolt easily and tighten up the two bolts. Okay, again, I'll do exactly the same on the other side. So with the two brackets firmly attached in place, I can just tidy that cable up around those brackets so that when we're transporting the machine around, the cable and plug won't be dragging on the floor. So that's all of the assembly done on the machine. So the next thing we need to do is to add our fuel. So fuel filler is here. Now when filling with fuel, obviously initially it's going to be cold, but when refilling with fuel, always let the machine cool down completely before putting fuel in. So fuel filler here, unscrew the cap anti-clockwise, and you will notice that there is a fuel strainer in the tank here. Leave this in the tank even when filling, because it will collect any debris that might be in your fuel cans. And again, if you do notice any debris in there, give it a clean from time to time to stop it building up. So we would fill the fuel tank, not to the very rim here. We need to leave it perhaps an inch or so down. There's no point in overfilling it. If you do spill any fuel, make sure you clean it all up thoroughly. And again, we can replace the fuel filler cap, screw it down firmly by turning it clockwise. Fuel gauge here, it does have a red flag in it. When the fuel tank is empty, the flag is back inwards towards the machine, and when the fuel tank is full, you'll see it creep its way across to this side to the F mark, and when it's full, as you'd imagine, it will show up underneath the F mark. So before we plug the unit in, I'll just make sure, and it isn't, power switch here is switched off, and at this point I can take my lead, plug it into my extension lead or my 13 amp wall socket, whichever one you're using, switch it on, and it's ready to use. So with the power on and available, if I switch this switch on, the machine will start up. Okay, so that would be the on switch, and that would be to switch it off. Next control we're going to look at is this thermostat knob here. Now the temperatures are graduated in centigrade and Fahrenheit. So for instance, if I was to turn the knob to here, it would keep outputting until the room temperature reached 80 degrees or 25 centigrade. Again, if I turned it down, the machine would cut out when the room temperature reaches 20 centigrade or 70 Fahrenheit. And the actual room temperature will be shown on this digital display here. You will see this pressure gauge here on the back of the machine, and inside it is an adjustment screw. Now this is preset at the factory to the correct pressure. It does show in the manual exactly what that pressure should be, but should that pressure change at any time, we may need to adjust the pump pressure, which is what pumps the diesel through, to get it back to the desired figure. And this can vary depending on temperature, on the condition of the filters and what have you. But anything you need to know on this will be in the user manual. So, recommended distances here on the hot end, 8 feet or 2.5 meters, 250 centimeters away from anything. Otherwise, it's going to get very hot on the surface of anything closer than that. Okay? All the other dimensions, the back, the front, the side and the top, we need to be 4 feet away or 1.25 meters, 125 centimeters. Just bear in mind, give it a little bit of room. 8 feet and 4 feet all around it, clear with nothing in the way. So as I said in the beginning, all the information on settings, maintenance, everything like that is all written in the manual. So I do recommend you read the manual before use. Well, I do hope you found this demonstration useful. For more information on this or any of our other products, visit www.hyundaipowerproducts.co.uk. I've been Adrian, and thank you for watching.